स उत्साहस्य लोकेषु न किंचित api durlabham. This Sanskrit shlok translates in the world as powerful as a spirit and enthusiasm. Good morning, everyone. I'm Astha Grover, and it is my humble pleasure to welcome all our esteemed guests, speakers, and entrepreneurs who have joined us today for the inauguration ceremony of the Startup India International Summit, Prarambh.
a range of benefits, including but not limited to self-certification, tax exemption, startup patent applications and IPR protection, easier public procurement norms, and the SIDBI fund of funds and access to the Startup India portal. Since the inception of the Startup India initiative, 39 regulations have been simplified for the startup ecosystem by the central government, and 37 regulations have been simplified by the state governments. The government has laid great emphasis on developing a robust startup ecosystem from the ground up, starting right at the school level and beyond. Several ministries and state governments have individually as well as jointly supported the Startup India movement at every step of this incredible journey with funding and mentoring programs, incubators, research parks, technology business incubators to provide the necessary infrastructure and assistance to innovators and entrepreneurs at every stage of their development. The government also recently announced the first ever National Startup Awards in 2020 with the aim to recognize and reward outstanding startups that are building innovative products, solutions, or scalable enterprises with a high potential to generate employment, create wealth, and demonstrate measurable social impact. Startups were awarded across 12 key sectors, including agriculture, education, energy, enterprise technology, financial technology, food, health industry 4.0, security, space, tourism, and a whole lot of areas. DPIIT now seeks applications from startups for the next edition of the National Startup Awards in 2021. The Startup India initiative was launched and driven by a 19-point action plan across areas such as simplification in handholding, funding support and incentives, and industry academia partnerships and incubation. With Prarambh 2021, our ministry aims to further build on those foundation stones set by the Honorable Prime Minister for building one startup in every district. I take this opportunity to thank all stakeholders, speakers, participants, and the distinguished galaxy of dignitaries for joining us for the Prarambh Startup India International Summit 2021. I look forward to a robust and engaging summit, and I'm confident that it will be a grand success. Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir, for your inspiring thoughts. The execution of this summit would not have been possible without your constant guidance, support, and endeavor to achieve greater heights. I now welcome Shri Som Prakash Ji, Minister of State for Commerce and Industry, to say a few words.
His Excellency Mr. Junaid Ahmed Palak, State Minister for Information and Communication Technology, Bangladesh. His Excellency Mr. Leonpo Loknath Sharma, Minister for Economic Affairs, Bhutan. His Excellency Mr. Lekraj Bhatta, Minister of Industry, Commerce and Supplies, Nepal. His Excellency Mr. Namar Raja Paksha, Ministry of Youth and Sports, Sri Lanka. Dr. Pon Arj J. Ratna, Executive Director, National Innovation Energy, Government of the Kingdom of Thailand. His Excellency Mr. Tanjan Lakvel, Secretary General, BIMSTEC. Shri Piyush Goyal Sahab, Honorable Minister of Commerce and Industry, Shri Hardeep Puri Ji, Honorable Minister of State, Commerce and Industry, Shri Gurprasad Mohapatra, Secretary Department for Promotion of Industry and Internal Trade. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. It's my proud privilege to welcome and speak at Prarambh Startup India International Summit 2021, which is being organized by the Department of Promotion of Industry and Internal Trade, Government of India. Our government is fully committed to create a conducive environment for supporting business at all levels by streamlining the existing regulations and processes. A detailed plan for regulatory reforms has been implemented at all tiers of government functioning including the central and state entities. We are fully committed to the vision of our Honorable Prime Minister, Shri Narendra Bhai Modi ji, in creating a better environment for business to flourish, especially startups to flourish and drive growth of our economy. Reforms undertaken by the government over the past 5 years have been crucial in making India a significant global market leader. Our state and union government are also tirelessly working under the Business Reform Action Plan. 19 states have designed an information visit providing information for all approvals, licenses, registrations, timelines, and procedure to establish business industrial units. 21 states and union territories have designed and implemented online single window system. 21 states, union territories have also implemented a GIS system to provide details about the land earmarked for industrial use across the state. 18 states, union territories have brought all compliances inspections conducted by labor, factories, boilers, Department of Pollution Control Boards under central inspection framework. A similar approach has been adopted over the past 5 years under the Startup India initiative to support all the scale Indian startups. The vision of our Honorable Prime Minister, Shri Narendra Bhai Modi ji, of making India Atmanirbhar is deeply connected to the startup ecosystem of our country. Relaxation in the norms for public procurement for startups, tax incentives, fast-tracked and low-cost IP examination, self-certification, facility for compliances has been instrumental in the success of the startup mission in India. It is imperative to provide an enabling platform to startups to explore international collaboration and offshore markets. Through the Startup India initiative, 11 international bridges have also been established with the aim to provide market opportunities for startups in the partner countries. Today, we have startup in international bridges with Portugal, Israel, Netherlands, Korea, Finland, Singapore, Sweden, UK, Japan, Russia, and Brazil. The UK-India Startup Launchpad is an initiative to foster deeper collaboration between two leading startup ecosystems. The India-Brazil Startup Bridge is an initiative to foster deeper collaboration between the startup ecosystem of the two countries. The India-Korea Startup Hub is a one-stop platform to bring the India and Korean startup ecosystem closer to facilitate joint innovative between the two countries. I feel there are immense opportunities for startups from the region to collaborate and develop innovative solutions that address our common challenges. The platform is an opportunity for all the startups in India and globally to come together, learn, teach, cooperate, and hold each other to start a new era of startups-led global economy beyond borders. With this, I would like to welcome and thank all of you for joining the Prarambh, and I congratulate all partners for organizing this 2-day of brainstorming sessions and connects. Thank you. Jai Hind.
Thank you, sir, for your inspiring thoughts. Your words motivate us to further work towards the growth of an innovation-led ecosystem. We would like to welcome and express our humble gratitude to all the representatives from BIMSTEC member states for joining us today. In the plenary session of the 4th BIMSTEC Summit held in Kathmandu, Nepal in August 2018, the Honorable Prime Minister announced to host BIMSTEC Startup Conclave to increase connectivity among our entrepreneurs. Honoring this vision, the summit will initiate conversations among various stakeholders, followed by collaboration among the member states to promote startups. I now welcome His Excellency Tenzin Lekfel, Secretary General of BIMSTEC, to share his opening remarks.
His Excellency, Mr. Piyush Goyal, Minister of Commerce and Industry, Government of India, Honorable Ministers, respected secretaries, distinguished delegates, participants, entrepreneurs, ladies and gentlemen, a very good morning. I'm deeply honored to have this opportunity to participate in this important event, the BIMSTEC Startup Conclave. I wish to record my sincere gratitude to the Honorable Prime Minister of India, His Excellency Shri Narendra Modi, for announcing India's readiness to host the BIMSTEC Startup Conclave during the 4th BIMSTEC Summit held in Kathmandu in 2018. Inspired by the contributions of the startups, in the progress of our world, all BIMSTEC leaders have welcomed the initiative. I would like to thank the Government of India for leading and hosting this BIMSTEC Startup Conclave. And through this conclave, I'm especially grateful to the organizers for bringing leaders, innovators, policymakers, investors, scholars, and startup innovators and entrepreneurs together. I'm sure that we will all be wiser through the exchange of ideas and experiences during the two-day seminar. What springs to my mind when I think of startups is innovation. The world stands to witness to the role innovations played in getting us through the many troubles that we faced as a society, as nations, and as a global community. Time and again, history tells us that we faced challenges, big and small. Economic collapses, diseases, natural disasters, and conflicts. But every time, the human ingenuity and human resilience took the better stage through innovative solutions. We stood up together as a global community, as a nation, as a village, and always prevailed. In this triumph, perhaps often neglected, is the role of innovators, spurred by the startups. The startups are quick to respond, whether in getting the economy back to shape, whether in getting the livelihood of the family going, or whether in the fight against the diseases. As we engage in this startup conclave in the midst of COVID-19 pandemic, it couldn't have been better timed. We are in a time where once again trouble has thrown at us. Economies have collapsed. Livelihoods have been snatched. Jobs in millions are lost overnight. Businesses are closed and trade and commerce are halted. We are all troubled. But we also know that Such is the time for human ingenuity and resilience. We just need to let innovation flourish through our startups. This BIMSTEC Startup Conclave is the demonstration of our common support to enable and empower a flourishing startup culture. Distinguished delegates, this is unprecedented times. Unprecedented challenges call for unprecedented courage and solutions. I urge our BIMSTEC leaders and all stakeholders to go beyond the normal, to enable and empower startups and entrepreneurial ventures to survive and even flourish. Through innovative policy support, financial rescue solutions, creative investments, and technological and capacity support system, governments must stand as a solid pillar of support to these actors. We must all come together to create a smart ecosystem. We must allow innovations to fight the many challenges and harness opportunities this COVID-19 has thrown at us. There are already many encouraging entrepreneurs who have risen to take on the challenges of this pandemic in the domains of health services, delivery services, online education, e-commerce, and many more. We must create the enabling environment and support systems for them to thrive. Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, inspired by the initiative of the Government of India, I would like to request the member states to consider establishing a BIMSTEC Startup Hub, where the BIMSTEC Secretariat could be the focal point for sharing knowledge on startups among the member states. The proposed Startup Hub could be a forum to bring the ideas, experiences, and best practices of the BIMSTEC member states in one space. Once again, inspired by the initiative, may I also submit to our leaders to consider organizing such conclave annually. I am positive that such events will inspire our young entrepreneurs and generate a startup culture in our region. To conclude, I'd like to state that even in the midst of COVID and chaos created by the COVID-19 pandemic, our human ingenuity and resilience has only become stronger. It is this common strength that brings us together at this conclave to fight against the present adversity and to give a new leash of life for the startups. As governments and regional forum, we have a duty to let innovation take on the challenge that we are all faced with. Our startups will rise to the challenge. What they need is a little support from us. I'm certain that deliberations at the BIMSTEC Startup Conclave today will come up with ideas and experiences that would enhance BIMSTEC's entrepreneurs' connectivity and therefore strengthen the economic cooperation in the Bay of Bengal region. As BIMSTEC Secretariat, we are committed to give life to the ideas that would emerge during this startup conclave. I once again wish to commend the leadership of Indian government and Indian business leaders in advancing BIMSTEC cooperation. With this, I wish all participants a productive deliberation. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. You have re-emphasized the importance of economic and multilateral cooperation amongst the BIMSTEC countries. We will continue our efforts to support and learn from each of the member states. We also have eminent dignitaries from BIMSTEC member states who will talk about their innovation ecosystem and the opportunities. Nepal has seen a rise in the number of startups and noted many innovation success stories making a mark in the subcontinent. I invite His Excellency Lekhraj Bhatta, Minister of Industry, Commerce and Supplies, Government of the Federal Democratic Republic of Nepal, to talk more about their ecosystem.
Sorry, we couldn't hear you. Would you please say again?
Yeah, I now invite His Excellency Mr. Lekhraj Bhatta, Minister of Industry, Commerce and Supplies.
Maybe your microphone is muted.
Sir, can you hear me now?
It's our turn.
Requesting His Excellency Lekhraj Bhatta to please share his opening remarks.
It's our turn. What? Hello. Hello. It's our turn.
So we are waiting for the Minister for Nepal to share his opening remarks. We can hear you, sir.
Hello.
So we can hear you absolutely fine. I hope you can hear us as well.
Speak. Hello. Hello.
Sir, allow us 2 minutes. We are waiting for the
Hello.
Excellency from Nepal. Yes, sir. We will start with Bangladesh. Bangladesh boasts of all the factors crucial for a growing startup ecosystem: young population, technology, and internet penetration. I invite His Excellency Zunaid Ahmed Palak, the State Minister for Information and Communication Technology, Government of the People's Republic of Bangladesh, to share a few remarks with us.
Thank you very much for your kind introduction. Dear Excellencies, a very good morning to everyone. Thank you, Mr. Secretary, DPIIT, and Secretary General BIMSTEC for your insightful opening remarks. And thank you for inviting me to speak at BIMSTEC Startup Conclave. I'm really happy to be here with my esteemed colleagues, honorable ministers of Bhutan, Myanmar, Nepal, Sri Lanka, and Thailand, and Honorable Sri Shom Prakash, Sri Hardeep Singh Puri, and Honorable Minister Mr. Piyush Goyal. At the outset, I would like to pay my homage to the founding father of Bangladesh, Bangabandhu Sheikh Mujibur Rahman, who dreamt of a golden Bengal. This year, we are celebrating the centennial birth anniversary of Bangabandhu Sheikh Mujibur Rahman, who laid the founding stones on which our nation is built upon. In 2008, Honorable Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina declared the Digital Bangladesh Vision. The Digital Bangladesh Vision, or Vision 2021, is the promise to become a middle-income nation by 2021 by leveraging ICT, and a knowledge economy by 2041. The Digital Bangladesh Vision is the modern concept of Bangabandhu's Sonar Bangla, or Golden Bengal. eradicating poverty, and ensuring food security and a better livelihood. The architect of Digital Bangladesh, Mr. Shajib Wazir Joy, the Honorable ICT Advisor to Prime Minister, strategized her vision and gave us an implementation roadmap to make Digital Bangladesh a reality. The strategic leadership of these three leaders is the guiding light that has helped Bangladesh graduate from a least developed nation to a middle-income economy and well in our way to becoming a knowledge economy by 2041. Excellencies, Bangladesh is a fast emerging economy with a promising future, and even during the pandemic, we registered positive GDP growth. We are a young and tech-savvy nation with 50% of our population below the age of 25, over 110 million internet users, more than 90 million users of mobile financial services, 40 million plus using smart devices, and a middle and affluent consumer base growing at over 10% per annum is set to make Bangladesh the 28th largest economy by 2030. During the pandemic period, while the world is at a recession, Bangladesh has experienced positive growth, registering a GDP growth of 5.29% till June 2020. Our per capita income has risen from $1,900 to $2,064 in the past 1 year. This has been possible because of quick shift to digital support business continuity in all areas, including government services, education, health, commerce, agriculture, entertainment, and other private businesses. As a result, we have seen a huge spike in internet usage. Distinguished panelists, our startups have played a critical role in ensuring the growth of Bangladesh economy in the COVID-19 period. We have a thriving startup ecosystem with more than 2,500 startups, out of which 70% are digital native or technology business in e-commerce and delivery, education, content, transport, health, finance, service, software as a service, travel, big data, and software development. The government and private sector are working together to facilitate ecosystem growth with 7 accelerators, 4 incubators, and over 40 million government fund under Startup Bangladesh. The ecosystem is gaining further momentum through several national and international business incubation and acceleration programs, innovation hubs, hackathons, and an institutional focuses on entrepreneurship. In the last 4 years, the Bangladesh startup ecosystem has attracted over $300 million of foreign investment. There is a focus on developing a thriving ecosystem for partners and investors who are keen on the Bangladesh opportunity in order to ensure cost-effective space for companies interested in investing in Bangladesh. We are setting up 39 high-tech parks, including 12 high-tech parks supported by Indian line of credit. We have infrastructure support like data centers to support technology companies, other initiatives including 13,000 Sheikh Russell Digital Computer Labs, which establishes specialized computer labs in educational institutions of all the districts to speed up the expansion of computer education and digital literacy, job opportunity, employment skills, and language competency. We are also building 300 schools of future and Sheikh Hasina Institute of Frontier Technology to groom our innovative youth to build a tech-based knowledge economy and to support innovation and entrepreneurship. We are building Sheikh Kamal IT Incubation and Training Centers in 64 districts. Dear Excellencies, to celebrate the centennial birth anniversary of the founding father of Bangladesh, Bangabandhu Sheikh Mujibur Rahman, we have established a Bangabandhu Innovation Grant, or BIG for short, through which we are funding 100 startups from Bangladesh as well as across the globe. We would like to invite the startups from BIMSTEC member countries to apply for the Bangabandhu Innovation Grant. Excellencies, social media and online platforms are a blessing, especially in the time of the pandemic, but they can also be a challenge for national security for all nations. I would like to propose that we, BIMSTEC members, collaborate with each other to address many of these challenges. I propose that we develop a social media platform, search engine, data cube, and cross-border digital commerce platform as a common platform among all 7 members of BIMSTEC to help create jobs and to boost our economies through mutual cooperation. I would like to end by mentioning one of my favorite quotes. If you want to go fast, go alone. If you want to go far, go together. Let's work together to make the world a better place for our next generations. Thank you for your patient hearing. Stay safe, stay healthy. Joy Bangla, Joy Bangabandhu. May BIMSTEC live forever.
Thank you, sir, for your valuable insights about how Bangladesh is growing as a thriving startup ecosystem, building a tech-based knowledge economy, and how we can collaborate further to create synergies. Nepal has seen a rise in the number of startups and noted many innovation success stories making a mark in the subcontinent. I invite His Excellency Lekhraj Bhatta, Minister of Industry, Commerce and Supplies, Government of the Federal Democratic Republic of Nepal, to talk more about their ecosystem.
His Excellency, Commerce and Industry Minister of India, Mr. Piyush Goyal, Excellency Ministers from BIMSTEC members country, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen. At the outset, I congratulate the Government of India for hosting this very important event at a time when the whole world is struggling to overcome the adverse impact of COVID-19. I believe that this event will pave the way for mutual collaboration among BIMSTEC member states to revive their economies through innovation and promotion of domestic skills, ideas, and to increase the production base. I would like to thank His Excellency Piyush Goyal for inviting me in the inaugural and plenary session of the Startup India International Summit. Needless to say, India is one of the leaders in the region for having enabling ecosystem for the startup. The initiatives taken from Government of India to encourage startups will have impact on the prosperity of the entire region. I am confident that this event significantly encourages and motivates the entrepreneurs with innovation ideas who are seeking opportunities for establishing startup. I hope that the discussion and interaction in this summit contribute towards the objective of achieving sustainable economic growth and generate large-scale employment opportunities through the startup schemes. I am pleased to inform this August gathering that Government of Nepal has also initiated promoting startup in Nepal. We have created separate startup fund to finance innovation ideas, promoting innovation ideas and skills. The importance of such initiatives has been grown up in the recent days as we are facing significant challenge in fighting with the pandemic and struggling to revive our economies from its impact. I believe that this summit will encourage the potential innovators to increase cross-country investment. I would like to take this opportunity to call upon the investors to invest in Nepal as well. Recently, Nepal has significantly improved investment environment, including reform in investment-related policies and laws, and establishment of other essential infrastructure to encourage foreign direct investment. Nepal has focused on investment promotion, various tax and non-tax initiatives, post-investment services, and hassle-free doing business environment. Moreover, procedural reform, commitment to non-nationalization or acquisition of any investment, national treatment, exemption and concessions on taxes, duties, infrastructure development, e.g. repartition of profit and gains on sales of shares, implementation of national single window, on-stop services, repatriation fund, heading fund and national payment gateway are some of the key reform initiatives taken to attract, facilitate, and promote investment in Nepal. With that note, I wish for a grand success of the summit. I am confident that the outcome of the summit will further contribute to build enabling ecosystem for the young entrepreneurs in the region. Thank you very much. Namaste.
Thank you, sir, for sharing inputs on how Nepal is growing as an emerging startup ecosystem to support innovation, ideas, and skills through investment and infrastructure. We are sure the stakeholders present here have been inspired by your words. Bhutan, known as the land of Thunder Dragon, is moving to adopt technology at an unprecedented rate. I invite His Excellency Leonpo Loknath Sharma, Minister of Economic Affairs, Royal Government of Bhutan, to throw some light on the startup ecosystem in Bhutan.
Thank you. Kusuzampo, namaste to everyone there. Excellencies, ministers from BIMSTEC countries, particularly Bangladesh, Nepal, Sri Lanka, India, Thailand, Myanmar. Everyone, Happy New Year from our side. And also with this, a very happy vaccine launch to India. Thank you for launching vaccine timely. At the outset, may I convey the warm greetings of His Majesty the King, the Royal Government of Bhutan, and our people to all the members here. As the world combats the challenges and difficulties posed by the COVID-19 pandemic, may I, on behalf of the Royal Government of Bhutan and people, express our prayers of solidarity. We pray that the pandemic goes away soon and everything falls back to normalcy. Until such time, I wish you all safe and good health. With regard to Bhutan's participation at the summit, I must express my deep gratitude to the Government of India for holding the Startup India International Summit for the benefit of the startup communities in the world in general and more so the BIMSTEC region. I would like to thank His Excellency Sri Piyush Goyal, Minister of Commerce and Industry in particular, for extending all support to Bhutan to take part in this important summit. Gauging from the planned panel sessions of the summit, I'm confident that the summit will no doubt contribute towards knowledge sharing, on best practices on nurturing startup ecosystems, inspire youth for innovation and entrepreneurship, and spread the light of high-tech and frugal innovations from India, one of the largest startup ecosystems in the world. Bhutan and India had a similar event called the Bhutan-India Startup Summit, the first of its kind in February last year. His Excellency Sri Piyush Goyal graced the occasion, and since then, we have witnessed the new phase of development in the cottage and small industries sector. Today, the global economy has been hit hard by the unknown enemy in the economic theories, so much so that millions of people have lost their businesses and source of income, jobs and livelihood. This presents a very unpredictable business ecosystems threatening the conventional way of doing things. Resilient economy, sustainable, inclusive, and as green as possible, but fast economic recovery and growth trajectory is called for. Today's event, in my opinion, has come at an opportune moment that would provide a perfect platform to work together, share ideas, and build resilient economic strategies in the regions. Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, let me share with you few strategies the Royal Government of Bhutan has put in place, particularly in the CSI sector. Though the scale is small and Bhutan is still in its initial phase of developing startups ecosystem in the country. We will continue learning from neighboring successful countries and keep on updating. Realizing the pivotal role that startup plays in strengthening the economy, the Royal Government of Bhutan has placed priority in building conducive ecosystem for the startups. As a part of ecosystem building, we are providing build-up startup centers with facilities and subsidies for the startups to test their ideas, innovate, and create. We're also into developing dedicated CSI states to promote and make them competitive. The Department of Cottage and Small Industry, under the Ministry of Economic Affairs, is the parent agency promoting vibrant and sustainable growth of CSIs, contributing to the overall socio-economic development of the country. In particular, the agency dwells on strengthening the country's entrepreneurship culture, developing human capital, supporting business development and infrastructure development, providing better access to finance, technology, and markets. A dedicated flagship program is recognized for CSI sector in the country. A dedicated CSI product output center called the CSI Marketplace is very recently opened in Thimphu that will try to build linkages with our local startups and aspiring entrepreneurs. Further, to help young entrepreneurs capitalize their business ideas and innovation, the Department of Cottage and Small Industry provides financial support through the Industrial Development Grant Scheme to purchase machineries and equipment for good business proposals. This has tremendously motivated our aspiring entrepreneurs. In addition, the government has established incubation centers in schools, colleges, and institutions to provide a platform for students and trainees to come with business ideas and test it. Fab labs were being established in the technical institutes as well. Access to finance has been cited as an impediment for the growth of startups, and I'm sure this BIMSTEC region will come forward to make finance available in the best possible way. In our own small way, in order to address this issue, the Royal Government of Bhutan has established dedicated cottage and small industries bank and launched various financial services, including National Credit Guarantee Scheme. We continue to provide incentives through tax cuts, reducing other compliance, including licensing administration, to encourage and promote CSI sector. For a small economy like ours, CSI sector plays an important role in employment creation, import substitution, enhance innovation, and promote exports. Bhutan has also potential to export from our startup centers. Small is beautiful. That's what we look forward. Building a market linkage for the sector has become important at this juncture. E-commerce policy is being adopted to foster online businesses, and we ought to see more market linkages in the region. It is our hopes that a platform such as these would provide better opportunities for aspiring entrepreneurs, innovators, investors, and startup leaders in terms of sharing ideas, building market linkages, and entrepreneur-to-entrepreneur contact. Thank you so much, the Secretary General of BIMSTEC, for telling us some of the way forward, and we are with you. And that's the way to go ahead. The region has to integrate. To foster greater cooperation and integration in terms of trade and commerce, political will and commitment is key, and I think it's coming forward. Nevertheless, this is an important factor. As far as I'm concerned, nothing is more appropriate than a forum such as this to foster greater commitments. More of our startup, young brains, young minds, those where lies the innovative ideas of the future generations, the future they would like to be, the future they would like to belong to, and the future they can create on their own. Leaders like us has to provide the platform, and the BIMSTEC region has already started. Thank you, India, for initiating, and I'm sure there is much more to be done. Lastly, I would like to thank everyone for listening to me and hoping that leaders in the region would place more commitment to build back our ailing economy. Collaboration is a key word, access to finance, and startup ecosystems are some of the things that we must work towards. With this, for today, I would like to wish you all a wonderful year ahead. Tashidalek and Dandabad. Thank you.
Thank you, sir, for highlighting the opportunities in startup sector, cottage and small business industries, and your support to them through subsidies, startup centers, and marketing linkages. We have multiple learnings to take back from your remarks to build resilient economies. Sri Lanka has seen its ecosystem quadruple in the past 4 years with favorable government policy. I invite His Excellency Namal Rajapaksa, Minister of Youth and Sports, Government of Democratic Socialist Republic of Sri Lanka, to share a few words with us.
Hi, Bhuvan. Excellencies, firstly, I would like to extend my thanks to Honorable Minister Piyush Goyal for inviting me to address this inaugural session of the Startup India International Summit. The global startup economy is growing daily. Despite the COVID-19 pandemic, the startup ecosystem is still moving forward. It may not be as robust as we expected or forecasted, but nevertheless, it's still growing. Currently, the startup ecosystem is globally valued more than $3 trillion. This is clearly indicating that the startup ecosystem is still thriving and healthy, and that it is economical future for countries as much like us. So in a global pandemic state, such as what we are experiencing now, where most large cooperatives are struggling to survive, it is imperative that we empower, support, nurture, and drive the growth of our startup ecosystem. I believe it is they that will be the foundation on which we build our economies post-COVID-19. While I appreciate this great initiative, the Startup India International Summit, I must make mention of great vision of foresight of His Excellency Sri Narendra Modi, who envisioned the importance of the startup ecosystem in 2016 when he launched the Startup India Action Plan, which was the catalyst for the Startup India initiative with the goal of making India the third largest startup ecosystem in the world. I respectfully thank Honorable Prime Minister and the organizers for connecting BIMSTEC countries to be part of this historic event. It is initiatives such as this that will truly enable and empower regions such as ours to compete with the developed world. I believe that together we can all go further. In the case of Sri Lanka, in the dawn of peace in 2009, when the government led by His Excellency Mahinda Rajapaksa took steps to empower entrepreneurship in Sri Lanka throughout its entire course of tenure, during which time Sri Lanka was ranked 71 in the Global Entrepreneurship Index. It was our belief that the economy like ours that aspire to transform from underdeveloped to developed status need to empower innovative entrepreneurship. It was one of our top priorities. We started entrepreneurship initiatives such as Divinagum and rural organizations such as Gamanagum. Entrepreneurship is an engine of economic growth of a country. Our President, His Excellency Gotabaya Rajapaksa, too has a very clear vision for startups and SME development. As clearly stated in His Excellency's policy manifesto, Saubhagya Dakma, Vistas of Prosperity and Splendor, he has pledged to create a right policy and framework for entrepreneurs to thrive and to take Sri Lanka's entrepreneurship ecosystem to great heights. Based on these initiatives, the Minister of Youth and his stakeholders launched many programs for youth entrepreneurs, key of which is tax benefits for corporates who help startup ecosystems. Concepts such as Q-Shop, a simple retail franchising model out of 40-foot containers, a youth hub concept for youth entrepreneurship, and even partner with state and private media houses to create entrepreneur-based reality shows to enable youth entrepreneurs to be ambassadors for entrepreneurship among their society. Promoting and nurturing the startup culture. From nurturing innovation to educating what innovative entrepreneurship is to connecting these new entrepreneurs and SMEs with investors. Any successful ecosystem must attract resources of all sorts, drawing in capital, partners, suppliers, and consumers to create a cooperative network. This is why it is vital that we work together as members of BIMSTEC, sharing our resources, our knowledge, our network, our entrepreneurs, generating both the supply and demand. It is only by supporting each other that we can grow not only our startups and SMEs, but our nations as well. Aibuan Nandri.
Thank you, sir, for your valuable insights and about highlighting your support for SME and startup ecosystem. Thailand is an upcoming ecosystem that has seen a tremendous boom due to the policy and strategic changes implemented in the past few years. I invite Dr. Pun Teratana, Executive Director of National Innovation Agency, to share his insights about the Thailand startup ecosystem.
Excellencies, Secretary General, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, Sawadee krap, and good morning. On behalf of the Ministers of Higher Education, Science, Research and Innovations of Thailand, Dr. Anek Lau Thamatat, it is a great honor for me to have a chance to participate in the inaugural sessions of Startup India International Summit today. Startup Thailand is one of the transformative policies of innovation and business terrains for Royal Thai government. This year marks the 6th-year anniversary that Startup Thailand platform has been supported and facilitated innovation and entrepreneurial development in Thailand. Startup Thailand, under administrations of National Innovation Agency or NIA, has been recognized nationally and internationally as a leading agency in responsible on national innovation and startup ecosystem of Thailand. While Bangkok is considered as the most one of the most preferable global startup city. Our mission aims at making startup to be a new economic warrior and access to international venture market. We aim to become a leading startup nation in Southeast Asia and a for international startup and investors, including India, one of the leading startup hubs in the world. Startup Thailand, an annual event that has been organized continually since 2016, has been a success and widely recognized as the biggest startup event in the region. In the beginning, the event aims at mobilizing startups nationwide to join forces to help inform and raise greater awareness among the local Thais for self-development to become a startup with potential for a business expansion and to help create a new market. Why Start Thailand 2020? It is held virtually with a theme of innovation in time of crisis. The objective of this online events are to create crisis awareness, gain new knowledge, and enhance survival capability and share experience under the three issues: pandemic, climate change, and economic crisis. Thailand ranked number one in the proportions of private and public research and development according to Global Innovation Index last year. This reflects strengths of venture markets of the kingdom, while Smart Visa has been increased threefold in time of COVID-19. For the year 2021, NAA and the government plans for the next 10 years to develop up to 3,000 new startups that can be internationally recognized, with special focus in three specific agendas: entrepreneurial university, new startup sector development, particularly on deep technologies, music, arts, recreation, so-called MarTech, and ease of doing startup business in Thailand. I would like to express my gratitude towards all participants of honor that sees the importance of startup ecosystem. This is our first time that NAA collaborate with Startup India. I wish this summit to foster economic growth, job creation, learning from each other, and enhance startup ecosystem to spur the creativities and innovation that will serve as a foundation in driving the growth and competitiveness of industries among Thai, India, and also South Asia startups. We are more than welcome to invite Startup India and South Asian Startup Nation to join our upcoming Startup Thailand in 2021 event this year. Thank you for your attention. ขอบคุณครับ
Thank you, sir, for sharing detailed inputs on the ease of doing business in Thailand and the importance of convergence. I would like to thank all the dignitaries who have joined us today from the BIMSTEC countries for elucidating why cooperation among our nations should be of key importance and ways in which how we can achieve the same. We would now like to invite our dignitaries from India to shed some light on how the Indian startup ecosystem has transformed in these past years. I welcome Shri Hardeep Singh Puri, Minister of State, Independent Charge for Housing and Urban Affairs and Civil Aviation, and Minister of State for Commerce and Industry to say a few words.
Excellencies, Ministers from the BIMSTEC region, Zunaid Ahmed Palak, State Minister of Information and Communication Technology, Bangladesh, Leongpo Loknath Sharma, Minister of Economic Affairs of Bhutan, Lekh Raj Bhatta, Minister of Industry, Commerce and Supplies of Nepal, Namal Rajapakse, Minister of Youth and Sports of Sri Lanka, the Executive Director, National Innovation Agency, Government of the Kingdom of Nepal, Dr. Pun Arg Chairatna, the Secretary General of BIMSTEC, Mr. Tenzing Lakefell, my senior colleague in the Council of Ministers, Shri Piyush Goyal ji, my colleague and friend, Shri Som Prakash ji, and the Secretary, Department for Promotion of Industry and Internal Trade, Dr. Guru Prasad Mahapatra. Ladies and gentlemen, I am truly delighted, and it is a great pleasure for me to join all of you here today at the Prarambh Startup India International Summit 2021, a flagship event of the Department for Promotion of Industry and Internal Trade. Today, India is positioned as the third largest startup ecosystem with a strong competency of accelerating to the top. I'm extremely delighted to see strong participation from all the BIMSTEC countries at this Startup India International Summit. The Startup India initiative, launched in 2016, created a ripple effect across central ministries and states in India to design and implement well-curated programs to promote homegrown startups. The Government of India launched the Untitled Innovation Mission, AIM or AIM, with the aim of fostering innovation and entrepreneurship in higher secondary schools, science, engineering, and higher academic institutions, and at the MSME, corporate, and NGO levels. Starting in 2016, the Department of Science and Technology initiated a major directional shift in the startup ecosystem by enhancing funding by nearly 5 times and by launching a new scheme called the National Initiative for Developing and Harnessing Innovations, or NIDHI. NIDHI addresses the needs of scouting, mentoring, networking and training of innovators, prototyping support, business plans, sustaining factors such as fellowships and timely seed funding, and transition to manufacturing and market together with the creation of a network of technology business incubators. I was struck by the expression used by the Secretary, Dr. Mahapatra, when he used the words igniting the entrepreneurial fire. And I think for us in India, it is a matter of great satisfaction that we are today joined by a distinguished galaxy of dignitaries from the BIMSTEC countries, from whom we can learn, we can share our best practices and what has worked in our respective countries, so that the youth of the entire region and our countries benefit exponentially. The Ministry of Electronics and Information Technology has also taken various initiatives and measures to improve innovation-led ecosystems with a Technology Incubation and Development of Entrepreneurs scheme. Today, there are over 130 startups in the domain of drones. This is another area where we are keen to support our startups, as drones can not only be used for surveillance, but also be used for delivering of supplies during disaster management, delivery of medicines. And I can share with you, based on the experience I have in the 2 line ministries for which I have responsibilities, civil aviation and housing and urban affairs, drones are being used today to monitor projects on a real-time basis, to give us precise real-time information on a host of activities. And I'm very confident that the progress that we are making in the drones, in the area of drones and the applied technology, is positioning India to be not only a regional but a global leader. And I think both in terms of the number of drones that we will have flying, but the technology that we are developing in terms of the drone, ensuring that it performs functions which it is mandated to without concerns on security and other uses, not so positive that it can be put through. We are very confident that we are almost there on that. In order to encourage Indian states to proactively improve their startup ecosystems, the Government of India started the state's startup ecosystem ranking in 2018 under the Startup India initiative, which has led to a healthy competition between state governments to develop their respective startup ecosystem. During COVID, we launched the Atmanirbhar Bharat App Innovation Challenge and Challenge Hunt Chunauti, were competitions launched by the Government of India in late August 2020 under the Next Generation Incubation Scheme to make India a global player in the development, production, and supply of innovative, efficient, and secure software products. Indian startups have emerged as winners with their solutions for a COVID-hit world. Today, for instance, the Indian EdTech sector, it witnessed mammoth funding of US dollars 1.43 billion in the last 11 months. Health tech too was a sector of choice for investors who banked upon the opportunities that the likes of Practo promised to harness. E-commerce, online gaming, and enterprise tech solutions such as video conferencing platforms were in the limelight as well. I would like to reiterate that the Government of India is completely committed towards its aim of all the support necessary to realize the dream of Startup India. And finally, as I am confident, along with all my colleagues, that over the next 2 days, we will get many interesting insights and valuable ideas that will enable us to further strengthen the Indian startup ecosystem. I want to acknowledge and pay a tribute to my senior colleague, Piyush Goyal ji, under whose inspiring and determined leadership this event. And I also want to express my appreciation on record for the Secretary of the Department, Dr. Mahapatra, and his all colleagues for the tremendous work that is being done, not only in the organization of this summit, but all the work that is being done in the area overall. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir, for sharing your insights on the innovation ecosystem in India, backed by science and new age technologies with a focus on self-reliance. It is now our great honor to invite Honorable Minister of Railways, Minister of Commerce and Industry, Minister of Consumer Affairs, Food and Public Distribution in the Government of India, Shri Piyush Goyal ji, to address our stakeholders and esteemed dignitaries and inaugurate today's summit.
Thank you very much, Madam. His Excellency Mr. Zunaid Ahmed Palak, Honorable State Minister for Information and Communication Technology, Bangladesh. His Excellency Mr. Leonpo Loknath Sharma, Honorable Minister of Economic Affairs from Bhutan. His Excellency Mr. Lekraj Bhatta, Minister of Industry, Commerce and Supplies from Nepal. His Excellency Mr. Namal Rajapaksa, Honorable Minister of Youth and Sports from Sri Lanka. His Excellency Dr. Pun R. Cheratna, Executive Director, National Innovation Agency, Thailand. His Excellency Shri Hardeep Singh Puriji, Honorable Minister of Civil Aviation, Housing and Urban Development, and Commerce and Industry. His Excellency Shri Som Prakash ji, Honorable Minister of Commerce and Industry, Government of India. His Excellency Mr. Tenzin Lekpal, Secretary General BIMSTEC, and our colleague Shri Guru Prasad Mahapatra, Secretary of the Department of Promotion of Industry and Internal Trade, Government of India, distinguished ladies and gentlemen. Truly a very, very happy occasion for all of us. Soon after we celebrated all the wonderful festivals yesterday, Makar Sankranti, Pongal, Onam, Uttarayan in Gujarat, Magh Bihu, Tusu Puja, across the nation, we celebrated the harvest season's onset and heralded a new year full of hope, a new year which will bring back joy, a new year which each one of us is looking forward to. And we have started the year on such an auspicious note with Prarambh, getting together startups from across different countries around the world, an international summit to encourage the startup ecosystem. And what better way than demonstrating our neighborhood first policy with our colleagues from the BIMSTEC nations joining us on this inaugural session. I'm really grateful to all of my colleague ministers from all the BIMSTEC nations for being with us today, for helping fostering this partnership, bringing together the joint commitment of all these nations to promote our startups across the region, to help startups work together in a spirit of partnership, togetherness. And I am confident we will herald in new beginnings that will be remembered for many, many years to come. I must compliment Dr. Mahapatra, Shri Anil Agarwal, the entire Startup India team of young professionals who have put in painstaking efforts and put together such a wonderful program that showcases different aspects of the startup ecosystem, that brings together a number of very engaging sessions, be it the encouraging response that the startup world has received in the various nations that are being represented, the promotion of startups, the strategies that startups are using, how social innovation is playing a role to encourage our startups, how incubation is important as we go forward, how market access is going to be ensured for the startups, investor connect programs to put together our investors and startups, what steps are required to build unicorns, how we will promote entrepreneurship in our educational institutions. The plethora of subjects that I see in this two-day event truly give me confidence in the ability of our Indian ecosystem, collectively with the ecosystem of our BIMSTEC neighbors, working together to take the startups at the forefront of a new India, a new world, a new neighborhood in the new normal that we are all experiencing. In fact, our startups show enthusiasm at their very best. I was hearing with great interest all our colleague ministers and the Secretary General. I cannot but agree with the entire conversation that we've had in this inaugural session, that it's ultimately going to be about innovation. The timing of this summit is just perfect, right as the world is coming out of the pandemic emerging out of the shadows of 2020 with confidence, looking forward to 2021 and beyond, with the confidence of rapid recovery and growth and a bright future for our nations. In fact, I would fully endorse the Secretary General's suggestion that we make this an annual conclave and work together to ensure that all of us provide opportunities to our respective startups. Some of the thoughts expressed by the various distinguished ministers, some of the feedback that we received about how startups are playing an important role in these countries is truly a matter of great satisfaction and encouragement for all of us. I see this as the beginning. Prarambh is a beginning of a new journey, a journey towards new horizons with hope, encouragement, and confidence. In fact, the global stage is available to our startups. And when we begin with our neighborhood, when we invite startups from other countries in the neighborhood in South Asia to engage with our startups in India, when we work together amongst the startups in our countries, we are going beyond government-to-government collaboration, beyond business-to-business collaboration or business-to-consumer engagement, to a startup-to-startup collaboration. And I see huge potential in this collaboration because we'll see new ideas prospering, we'll see young minds working together collectively and collaboratively to come up with new ideas, new innovations, new inventions, taking research and development also to the very next level. And I'm sure that this collective commitment that has been demonstrated by all the BIMSTEC nations today will surely encourage the startups in all our countries. I have very fond recollection of our own engagement with Bhutan earlier in February, end of February 2020, when India and the government of India led delegation, along with some of the most successful startups and mentors from India, visited Bhutan, discussed ways of collaborating between Bhutan and India. And I must acknowledge, it was truly a very, very exciting visit. One of the best engagements that I've had internationally, where I saw young boys and girls from Bhutan with brilliant ideas, with fire in their belly to achieve success. And I'm sure similar engagements amongst our BIMSTEC nations hold huge potential in the years to come. In fact, I'm finding in the youngsters of today a tremendous entrepreneurial streak. I see a lot of young boys and girls who are not wanting to be only job seekers, but job creators. Honorable Prime Minister Shri Narendra Modi started the startup story in India 5 years ago. It's only a 5-year nascent story, but it's been 5 glorious years where India has been able to mushroom over 41,000 startups registered with our department. We may have many more in the offing, many more in different parts of the country. In fact, a visit to Varanasi, the Honorable Prime Minister's own constituency, a couple of years ago, where I had interacted with young startups, many of them in small town or rural, semi-rural areas, gave me the confidence that true talent lies in our villages, lies in our small towns. And I'm sure as we work together in this spirit of partnership within different parts of the country and with our global peers, with our partners, both in the neighborhood, the BIMSTEC nations and beyond, we will truly be able to learn from each other's experiences, support each other, and expand the startup ecosystem in the years to come. I have also been making an earnest appeal on several occasions to try and encourage Indian capital to expand their horizon, to support startups in India, particularly at an early stage. Today, I would like to encourage Indian capital and Indian investors to look at the BIMSTEC region, to look at our neighbors and work towards greater engagement, both through investments, mentoring, and support to the larger ecosystem within the BIMSTEC region, so that we can truly demonstrate to the world our joint and collective commitment and our efforts to make the startup the pillar on which future economic development will rest and prosper. Skill development is another area which will play a very, very important role in fostering the entrepreneurial spirit and giving confidence to our entrepreneurs. I'm sure if we can build confidence that failure should not be looked down upon. Failure is only a stepping stone to success. We'll be able to really get more and more of our young boys and girls, our budding entrepreneurs, to experiment with their ideas, to see what more can be done, to expand their horizon, the frontiers of their engagement. And I am sure, collectively, when all of us nations work in this spirit, participating with each other's efforts, the startup ecosystem has a very, very glorious future ahead of us. We are very privileged that the Honorable Prime Minister is going to address Prarambh tomorrow evening, and I'm sure all of us will look forward to his words of wisdom and his encouragement to our startups, to the work that all of us are doing. This effort that is being done to create an ecosystem full of innovation, full of invention, full of enterprise, will surely work like a battery, the AAA battery, where a positive attitude, nimble agility, and tremendous ability of our youngsters will power and drive the future of startups, both in India, in our neighborhood, and in the world. India, along with all the BIMSTEC nations, will certainly experience unprecedented growth in the post-COVID pandemic world and start a golden era of development. I invite the startups, both in India and our neighborhood in the BIMSTEC nations, to work together, to work both as friends and as partners, and help take the world out of this dark period of the pandemic into a glorious golden new era. My best wishes to Prarambh, and I declare this international summit, Prarambh, open for further engagement. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. The effort and guidance received from you has enabled us to further our vision in building a leading startup nation, and we thank you for your inspiring support all through this journey. In the backdrop of the renewed emphasis on startups and innovation coming from the leaders of BIMSTEC member states, the thoughts of dignitaries today have highlighted far-reaching impacts of sharing best practices across the leading global ecosystems. We look forward to these 2 days of Power Pack sessions and immense learning. We thank all the member states of BIMSTEC and officials from our Ministry of External Affairs for participating in Prarambh today. Thank you, everyone.
Anil,